I'm about to Martelley a story.
Welcome to the Buckhorn Podcast. I am Martelle, and with me always is Randy. What up, Randy?
What is up? I love the fact that it's really weird doing this 3 times in one day.
I know, right? It's great. We're going to do some Buckhorn shorties. This is going to be a Buckhorn shorty.
Maybe. We'll see
So,
what happens.
we have DJ in the studio again.
You say again,
Still. He's in the studio still.
I just sounded like Billy Bob off Varsity.
Mike. Guess what day it is? Guess what day it is?
It's
Hump
Saturday.
day, yeah.
It's Saturday.
And DJ said he has stories to tell.
Yeah, I'm excited. After last week's, a.k.a. 10 minutes ago episode, where we hashed out some good things, where you're going to have some fun.
After we did a couple news stories, shit got real.
You know what I've realized? I was thinking while you went out to pee real quick. We just did 2
TMI.
episodes. Everybody poops, Martell.
Everybody poops.
I think we just did 2 episodes, and I don't remember you dropping one F-bomb.
Oh, no, I did.
Did you? So one, oh, you did.
Well,
Yeah, that's fair.
So,
1 out of 2. New year, new you.
yeah, new year, new Martelley.
Martelli. All right,
I'm
DJ.
looking for Martelley.
I'm about to Martelley a story.
I love having DJ here. Oh, it's nice to have smart friends.
I know.
Because I'm not one of those.
I'm
You
so
guys,
smart and
you guys
stupid.
giving me too much credit. I'm
Well,
only
it-
smart in this room.
I was going to say it's very easy to
Yeah,
elevate
I mean, that's-
the IQ when you walk in. When you walk in, we actually get into triple digits.
Well, that's what I do. I do the thinking so that nobody else has to.
And
I'm
for
fine
that,
with
we
that.
thank you.
I'm good with that.
All right, so let's hear these stories. Let's get rolling.
All right, so
I'm
what's-
excited.
so what are these
We have no
stories?
clue what they
So,
are or what they're about.
so the first one is a story about a good friend of mine, and
Do we know this friend?
neither of you guys know this friend, but
Okay.
it's somebody from my old neighborhood, the Blaine Street Posse, and we grew up together. He's a little bit older than I am.
Was that
name-
in Circleville?
No, that was in Columbus. That
His
was
name is
Col-
George.
Well, I'm going to call him Bob, just because. Doubtful that anybody he knows will hear this, except for my friends, and then they'll be like, "Dude, he was on the radio talking about you," and I'm like, "Not the radio."
I'm going to put cap in your ass.
Exactly. So,
Because he was part of a posse.
So this happened when
Posse.
I was about 19 or 20 years old. And my friend Bob was, I think, 2 years older than I am. And at the time, I had just gotten out of high school because I graduated when I was 19 because I was one of those kids that like started school late and then like was older than everybody else.
You were held back because your parents wanted you to be a football star.
I was held back because I was stupid. Skipped a lot of school in 8th grade.
You've done very well for yourself then.
Well,
I consider you stupid now.
I was.
I read a book.
I was stupider than I am now. The it's a qualifier. So, anyways, this is before the days of the internet and cell phone, and I think I may have had a pager.
Everybody had a page.
And so
I almost got mine taken
so
away.
what am I doing on a Saturday night? Well, I'm at home playing video games on my like 13-inch television.
Hell yeah.
What
Right?
game
Like,
system?
I think I was playing Super Nintendo. I think I was rocking some like Tecmo Bowl, some Super Tecmo Bowl or some Draken
Super
or something
Bowl, yeah.
like that, like Dragon
Classic.
Quest. Anyways, phone rings and it's my buddy Bob. And he's like,
Get off your Dreamcast and come
well,
over
actually,
here.
you know what? This was earlier in the day. Sorry. This was like in the afternoon. And he was like, "Hey, man, what you doing?" I was like, "Nothing, just hanging out." And he was like, "Do you want to go fishing?" And I was like, "Yeah, man."
Was
let's
that
do
gay slang?
No, I actually wanted to go fishing. And like, as a,
in the dark.
when I was young, I was big into the Boy Scouts, spent a lot of time in the rugged outdoors.
So it is gay slang.
And so this guy says,
You were scouting for boys.
Bob says, "Hey, we're going fishing. Do you want to come?" And I said, "Sure."
Yeah.
And he says, "All right, I'll pick you up. We'll pick you up at 9." And I'm like, "Oh, okay." So he means like tomorrow morning. Right, exactly. And I was like, "All right, cool. Yeah, I'll see you then." So later that night, I'm playing video games, doing nothing. Knock on my door. Look up. It's about 9 o'clock. Go downstairs. There he is standing at the door. He's like, "What are you doing?" And I was like, "I'm playing video games. What are you doing?" He's like, "We're going fishing." And I was like, "Look, man, I'm no angler, but like it's dark outside. Like, why are we like I don't really know anyone who fishes in the dark. And he goes, you fish in the dark if you're trying to catch catfish. And I'm like, oh, all right, well, that makes sense. I didn't know that that's what was going down, but I ain't got shit else on my schedule, so let's go.
It's the 90s,
so
I don't have internet.
Right, I hollered at my dad. I said, Dad, I'm going fishing. And he was like, all right, catch some. And so, like...
Well, how different was it back then? Because now if a friend shows up on your doorstep at 9 says, I'm going somewhere, and you have no way to take a cell phone with you,
yeah,
you were like... it seems sketchy.
Yeah,
you know this person.
Yeah. Back in the day, I would like write a note and leave it on the door, like leave it on the floor in front of my door, and Dad would get home, and that was like that is that's what like, it is, man. Yeah. Like if you got a problem with that, you'll just have to talk to me about it when I get home.
Right,
right. You can't call me and be like, "Get your ass back here."
Right.
So we pile into his soon-to-be brother-in-law's truck. He was engaged to be married, my buddy Bob. And his wife, his soon-to-be wife, was pregnant with their first child, and it was like, you know, he was going through a transitional period, that's like boys to men, right, growing up, and so we go fishing.
Different type of transitional period.
So, yes,
different type of boys to men too.
Like, I'm talking about transitional in the 90s, not.
He wasn't transitioning.
They're not transitioning. Right, exactly.
It was a pivotal moment.
Right, exactly. So seminal, you might say. We are, man, I did not think it was going to take this long to tell this story.
I'm trying not to interject.
So we go to Buckeye Lake, and another one of his friends is already there, and he's like pulled one of those heavy ass park benches over towards the shoreline, and he's got a Coleman grill set up and a Coleman lantern, and he's already got like 4 fishing poles out into the water, and he's got a big ass pot with grease in it. So I was like, what's going on here? And he's like, yo, man,
fish fry.
Whatever we catch, we eat. And I was like, all right, so we're going to be grubbing on some catfish tonight. And I was like, that sounds good. And then my buddy Bob like goes and he's like, hey, help me with this. And they open up the back of the truck, and there's like not 1, not 2, but 3 coolers. And none of it's beer. All of it is liquor.
Whoa.
And I was like,
coolers of liquor for
yeah, dog. Yeah. and I don't drink. I was not drinking. So like it's,
I mean, you still don't drink.
3 coolers for 3 of them. And it was clear that by the time we got there, the dude that was already there had pre-gamed heavily. I was like, man, this is going to be an interesting night. Well, so
I imagine that 3 people.
Boone's Farm and Mad Dog.
It was a bunch of rock gut stuff, I'm sure, and my
plastic bottle stuff.
So I'm looking at my buddy Bob, and I'm like, dude, what? So like, all right, what am I doing here? I don't have a fishing pole.
You're the DD.
It doesn't look like anybody's actually fishing, like actively fishing.
There are lines in the water, but you don't know if there's bait on it.
Right. And he said, look, man, we got chicken livers and we got big old worms, and you put one of those 2 things on your hook and you throw it out there, and then you like wait for the fish to eat it. And I was like, all right. So that's what we did. And like, it was a super active night. I mean, you could hear fish jumping like out in the lake all over the place. It sounded like they were having a party, but none of them were interested in our victuals. Like they weren't eating anything. Like we weren't catching anything. And so we've been there for a while, and like we're all just talking and have a good time. And my buddy Bob at this point has had almost an entire bottle of Southern Comfort, and
80 proof.
And now like a little bit about my buddy Bob. He's shorter than me, but he's always been a super like stocky, thick, muscular dude. And he has a fairly high metabolism. He's also somewhat of a blunt instrument, right? He's not telling sophisticated jokes. He's not
the best way I've ever
he's not reading the in-depth social commentary, right? He's not a dummy. He's just not sophisticated.
You just described me. Like
you understand what I'm saying, though.
Yeah. Randy's a blunt instrument, too.
So, like, and he's always been really, really good about handling his liquor. So he's had this whole, and like, we've been there for an hour or 2 now.
Just drinking the Soko straight?
Yeah. Wow. Haven't caught anything. And I'm listening down the bank. It sounds like there's like a fish bonanza happening down here with all the fish jumping and stuff. And I'm like, hey guys, I'm going to take a fishing pole and one of these lanterns, and I'm going to go move about 50 yards down the bank here and see if there's better fishing down there. And they're like, okay, cool. And my buddy Bob's like, hey man, I'll come with you. And I'm like, all right, great. So he grabs the rest of his bottle. He grabs a fishing pole and a net. I grab the lantern and a fishing pole and a couple chairs. And we move down the bank a little bit, and we're like not within sight of the guys, but we can hear them over there talking.
Well, if they've been drinking,
and
yeah,
so
you
like
can hear them.
Right, exactly. And so we cast out and we're sitting there, and for a while we sit in silence, and the lantern is between us, and we're just sitting there, and like, you know, when you're fishing for catfish, you throw that out there, and then you just like stare at the tip of the fishing pole, waiting for it to move.
Just the tip,
right? And if it doesn't move, and you just keep staring at it, you know, you get like that sort of tunnel vision thing where like the edges of your vision get fuzzy, and you start to like zone in, and it like fades to like your whole world becomes just like the tip of your fishing pole.
Yeah.
And you're just like, and you're probably drooling, and like nobody, you know what I mean? Like you're totally useless at this point. So my buddy Bob at this point says, DJ, and it like snaps me out of my reverie, right? And I'm like, sup? And he goes, and he's not looking at me. He's still staring at the end of his fishing pole. And he's like, how long have we been friends for, man? And I'm like, man, I don't know, like 10 years. I've known you. Like you've lived on the street right behind me as long as I can recall. You know, we've been playing street football and forever. This has been 10 years, right? And since I was only 19, that was forever.
Right.
That's back basically as far as like my memory would go back.
Right.
And then without looking at me, he goes, we've had some good times, huh? And I was like, yeah, man, we had some real good times. We're going to have some more good times too. And he was like, you might say we got like some love for one another. And like, right, exactly. That's exactly right. That's exactly. So in my head, right, in my head, I'm like, what is going on right now? And then I was like, wait a minute. Normally I would like, I've always been the jokester. So normally I would like just snap him back, like, you're not getting my Bud Light, Johnny, or something like that. You know what I mean? Like that old commercial.
Yeah.
And, but instead I was like, hold on a second. My homie's about to get married. He's about to have his first baby. And like, he and I have never had any kind of like deep discussion, right? Like this is the first time like I've ever like
seen emotions.
Exactly. I've never like exactly. It's like the first time that he's ever been anything besides Shrek to me, right? And so I was like, let me just wait this out and see where he's going with this. And so I was like, my response was, yeah, man, you know I love you, and you know I love your family, and I know you love me. And there's like the pregnant pause. And then he turns and he looks at me dead in the eye, and he goes, you want to rub wieners together?
He said, I love you, man. He said, I love you. He's like, tummy sticks?
And so I instantly am like, I like push back, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, you push back into him.
And he goes, what? And I was like, I like threw my fishing pole down, and I was like, what did you just ask me, man? And I was like laughing because I was so uncomfortable. I was like, right. What is going on right now?
Chuckling.
And he looks at me, and he gets his hurt expression on his face, and he goes, man, you're hurting my feelings. And I'm like, I'm about to throw you in this lake unless you start laughing and tell me that you're fucking with me right now. And that is exactly what happened. Of course, he starts cracking up and like falls out of his chair. And he's like, man, I got you so good. And I was like, I almost fainted. I was like, oh God. I was thinking to myself, like, I was a much smaller dude. Like I was an athlete, but Tom is a big, strong dude. And I was like, if he's
You're about to
serious,
raise your
I
guitar.
can't do anything to like keep this from happening. Like there's like, I have no chance.
I just keep going back to. Is that you want to go fishing? Is that, I don't understand your gay terms.
So
DJ sitting there going at that moment thinking, man, maybe I should have grabbed one of them bottles.
I was like, man. And it was so I told you, like, the dude's
Plot
unsophisticated.
twist.
And
Bob
like,
was serious until DJ called him out like that.
so,
He really wanted to know if you were down.
so surprised that, like,
That's funny.
I mean, he got me so good.
Oh, I want the Wayback Machine so you can go back and go, yeah, let's do this.
The next, so like, this is not sort of secondary to the story, but like the very next thing that happened was also funny, insofar as, you know, we were both laughing, and I like had tears coming down. I was laughing so hard.
And what was funny was it felt
And
good when they did it.
He's still holding his fishing pole, and we're just chuckling. And I look at the end of his fishing pole, and it's like and it's not because he's laughing; it's because some big ass fish is on his fishing pole. And I was like, Tom. Well, I guess that's his name. Fucked it up. Sorry, Tom. And I was like, dude. I was like, fish on. And he was like, oh. And I was like, okay, let me, I'll grab the net. And he goes, okay. And so like I turn around and I walk 2 steps behind us and bend over to get the net. In the meantime, Tom sets the hook. And as this is happening, I feel something like brush against the back of my head. And like there were a lot of bats and stuff. And so I was like, oh, a bat just like buzzed me or something. And I turn back around and I've got the net. And Tom is like standing there with the fishing pole and he's looking for the fish. He's like looking out in the water and he's like reeling the fish and he's like, I don't know where's the fish? Like, where's my, and I look and then I follow the line and I'm like, and I turn around behind me and like, so the fish is like 15 feet past where I was getting the net behind
up on
us.
the shore?
Yes.
What
and
did
it,
you do, just yank
and
the
it's
whole thing?
and it is like flopping around like, oh God, oh that hurts so bad. Oh, the pain. And like, so apparently Tom had been slowly reeling in his fishing line the entire time that he was setting me up for this joke. And so when the fish hit that bait, it was in like 6 inches of water. And Tom, being an enormous ogre who was drunk and laughing hilariously, set the hook with the force of 1,000 suns and whipped that fish totally out of the water and almost hit me in the head with a catfish. I was like, man, I don't think we're going to need the net for this one, bro. And he turns around and he starts laughing. And I was like, all right, well. So yes, that's one of my favorite stories to tell of my
That's a funny way to lose your virginity.
my buddy.
That's a good story. I didn't expect that.
I like that.
Yeah, the look on his face, like he's so good. He was like, "You want to rub wieners together?" I was just like, "What? What did you just say to me?" So
That was the
good.
second time I got crabs.
Buckeye Lake crabs.
yeah, this is like the
Freshwater
worst
crabs.
saber-toothed crotch critters.
Oh, that was good. You got another one?
Yeah, so
What's
like
the other one? Is
this
it as
one,
good?
I
Or
don't.
did you open with your best?
It might be. It might not be. I don't know.
All right. Well, thanks for listening.
So this one is this one is from like so I'm currently married to a lady named Jen.
Tom.
I was married before to a lady named Wendy, and Wendy and I took our honeymoon in Jamaica. But like going back before that, like Wendy and I were together for a long time, and so she had asked me at one point if we wanted to do anything to sort of like make more permanent our affection for one another.
Okay,
and
thought
so-
you were gonna say spice things up, and it was going to get
No, and so like we decided we would get like tattoos, right? So she got one of my name, which was super easy because it's a DJ. I got one of her name. Well, like I was,
like the classic
I was feeling kind of like frisky, so I got it on my
Hold on. Hold on.
What?
I have known you for 18 years, and I've never known that you've had.
Well, why would I tell
penis
you
art.
that?
You're
What?
telling the world now.
Well, like, but this
Like,
is
I figured this would be something you tell your buddies.
this is
before you
funny.
tell-
Well, I'm like you
No,
are
I'm
my
happy.
buddies.
I'm
I'm
happy. I'm
telling
not
you.
mad. Let's go. Let's hear
So,
about your.
so like,
your
here's the thing. Like,
penis costume.
I'm a grower, not a shower. So like when it's you can only read the whole word when
Oh my gosh! I already know.
when things.
Oh my goodness!
So does it just say, wait?
All you can read is the W and the Y. Right?
Why? I was gonna say it just says why.
It says W. All you can read is the W and the
I thought
Y.
you just meant you got it in the pelvic region. You
And
got it
no.
on the member.
Yes.
Oh my gosh!
It was painful.
Way.
It was not great.
Wendy.
Not
Way?
my best moment.
Literally every time DJ goes to take a piss or anything, he looks down and just goes, "Why?"
Why?
Yeah, it's,
You should go get a cover up
it's a
art done.
question that I've asked myself several times.
You should go get some cover art
my
done
gosh. First off,
Okay.
and have it done like a barbershop pole. Just call it your candy cane. Red and white stripes all the way around.
yeah.
So,
when it's not being used, it just looks red.
So we
That's not natural.
so we get married and we go to Jamaica.
Way.
I'm gonna.
And we're like out on the beach in Jamaica. And I'm not like, I've never been much of a beach dude. So I was like, it's hot out here. I gotta go to the
Jamaica.
I gotta go to the bathroom. Like in the beach, like they had like public restrooms that were actually pretty nice, but they were like set back off the beach a little. The beaches were enormous, but like, so I go back and I'm like, I'm gonna go to the bathroom, and she's like, okay. So I go back and I'm going to the bathroom, and of course I'm standing at the stall, doing what you do in the bathroom, and a big black Jamaican dude comes in and stands right at the one next to me.
He didn't go. He broke the.
That he broke all of the rules.
I think that's
Right.
just an American thing.
And he probably, like, if I
not
was
a
a big
cultural
black
thing.
Jamaican dude, I would be taking every opportunity to like show
Hey,
off.
look at this.
Right, exactly. So like we're going to the
He was using the
bathroom.
stall next to him, but he's standing back 5 feet.
We're going to the bathroom, and I can't help it. I glance, and what do I see? This guy's got a W and a Y on his as well. And I'm like, what?
Wait. So you, being a white-looking black dude from Ohio with a pretty rare tattoo,
Right.
goes to Jamaica.
What
and
are the
finds
odds?
A local Jamaican dude who has.
Well, look, I didn't find him. I wasn't like seeking him out.
This is like the cosmos aligned.
I know, it's crazy. So like I'm going to the bathroom. I
Seek him
glance.
out.
I glance
Anybody
over.
got a penis tattoo.
It was
Right,
geocaching.
I'm looking for something very specific.
All right, sorry. Finish your story.
Oh
my gosh.
I glance over, and
The difference was,
And I'm
that
like-
news was in bold.
I'm like, wow. And he kind of like looks over at me, and I'm like, are you married to a woman named Wendy? And he kind of looks at me like weird, and then he sees what I'm looking at, and he looks down, and then he looks over at mine, and he's like, and like understanding dawns on his face, and he
I
goes,
thought you said dongs on his face. It took a second. Understanding dongs on his face. I was like, what?
dawns on his face, rises like the sun.
Okay, sorry, go ahead.
And he says, and he gets this big smile, and he goes, oh, no, man. This is welcome to Jamaica, man. Have a nice day.
Oh, man. That's good. I think that was the better story.
I'd like to go ahead and say that if y'all actually believe that I have a tattoo on my schlong, you are out of your mind.
Doesn't matter. It's still funny.
Better.
Like that.
I knew
Disclaimer,
that you told me that
that's
you
not
made-
true.
Kind of made up a story about your honeymoon. You told us that before we recorded 2 episodes ago, 2 weeks ago today.
Right.
And still in that, I still got caught in the story. That was very
Still
well told.
good. Still good.
Oh,
I don't
man.
care.
That's okay, because everything I say on here, people believe anyway, no matter how ridiculous. So.
Well, I think that's why it's important for me to go ahead and tell the folks that, like, that's a lie. I did not. We didn't go to Jamaica. I was actually married to a woman named Wendy, but, like, we didn't go to Jamaica. I don't have a tattoo.
It's still funny.
anywhere,
I don't care.
I don't believe you.
especially not on my.
You should still go get one of a barbershop.
You know how hardcore you would have to be?
Honestly, I almost asked you, and then I realized, wait, he said this isn't all true. But I almost asked, like, I got to know how it feels. It terrifies me, the thought of...
Yeah.
I've got several tattoos, all on my arms. Shoulders, wrists, forearms. And I know what it feels like to get them there.
I like that you had to, like, sort of explain to us what your arms consisted of.
Well, see, the hand bone...
Shoulders, wrist, forearms.
The hand bone connects to the wrist bone.
Those are typical arm parts.
Yeah. Those two to connect to your other bone.
If you had said, they're all on my arms, you know, knees, ankles, toes, I'd have been like, not sure.
Well, when I say arms, if the people don't see me and they don't know me...
They know what arms look like.
Yeah, but they don't know where they're located on my arms. Was that too much info? Like, did I... I feel like I'm getting questioned over something that doesn't really matter. I feel like I'm being interrogated right now.
Well, I mean, just like
if you said I have a tattoo on my arm, I would, if I didn't know you, I might go, I wonder where it's at.
I wouldn't think
Is it
that.
forearm?
But that's just
But
me.
that's because I like tattoos and I like the art of it.
Okay.
So I like to know what it is, what's the story behind it. I'm weird. Okay, that's...
I don't think that
I don't
part's
know if you
weird.
guys know this, but I'm a blunt instrument.
Unsophisticated.
Well, that's kind of like I was on the Aaron or the Tim and Shipe show, college football podcast my buddies do, and they're like, "Hey, before you leave, give a shout out to your podcast." I was like, "Yeah, come listen to me and Martelle on the Buckhorn podcast. That's Buckhorn." And then like they continued the podcast, and I didn't think that I spelled it out. Like it just didn't dawn on me in the moment. Well, when they put out the episode later, because they did like another half hour after I was on, they were like, yeah, just in case nobody out there knows how to spell. like, we're not sure why Randy felt the need to spell out Buckhorn. I was like, dang it.
Well,
What instrument, man?
what had happened was
I feel like...
we were when I was working in Texas. I was getting used to my new boss, and after a few months, we hired in another lady, and she was working, and she was like, turns around and she was talking to us, and she was like, "Well, I did all of this extra stuff because I know you like to have all this extra information." And my boss, who was a woman, was like, "Because I'm anal retentive." And I was like, you're just detail oriented. And then she says, totally straight faced, "No, I prefer anal." And like me and the other lady are looking at each other, and I was like, well then.
Okay.
And then like 3 seconds later, she realized, her face turned like super red, and she had this big smile on her face, and she's like, and to her credit, she didn't say shit else. She just turned around and went back to work, and I was like, she's just gonna let us have that.
She's gonna let
There you go. You
That's
guys,
a freebie.
you guys can take that and keep it and do what you like with it. And I was like, okay. I know something you don't know.
Oh, man. But what I mean is my wrist, my forearm.
Oh, we're going back to that again.
Yes, you've got multiple tattoos in multiple places on your arms.
On my body, but specifically just my arms.
Shit.
Those were good stories.
Those were good.
That was a nice, lighthearted pick-me-up
Yeah.
after last week's.
Yeah, man.
God.
Oh, that was
All right, we got a couple minutes. Do we want to run through some Urban Dictionary?
Yeah,
game?
let's.
let's
I've
hit
not
it.
done this before. Show me what
All
this.
right.
Tell me
yeah,
what this
I
is
gotta-
all
So
about.
we tried to do this last week, or last episode, I should say.
And then Martell made a mistake.
And I set DJ off on a perfectly acceptable rant.
And once we patched the hole in the wall that he punched,
Oh,
we got
see,
back to it.
We're
yeah, it made me sound like I'm over here
If everybody listens,
going
if
truck
you-
door on things.
If you are listening to this and you didn't listen to the last episode, go back and listen to it. It's very good and informative.
listen to the
things.
last about 20 minutes if you want to skip over the news and stuff.
I am less blunt of an instrument.
We're gonna take a whetstone to
I'm rounded
Randy,
the edges.
sharpen
right.
him up a bit.
So we're going to do Urban Dictionary game. Goal of the game is I am going to give you a Urban Dictionary term, and all you have to do is guess the definition.
Okay.
That's it.
Speaking of subjective definitions
Yeah.
from 2 episodes,
So
Sure, we won't have any of those.
usually there are multiple definitions.
Right.
I always pick the top definition. So whatever the first one on the page is,
That's what counts.
that's the one that counts.
Understood.
And we alternate who goes first.
Yep. So, and I will pick who goes first.
Okay.
So I will call your name and then give the definition. So the first one we are going to go with.
Should I do a mom disclaimer here?
Nope, you don't. Well, I will give the
You know
disclaimer.
what?
They're all pretty much. These ones are all pretty much safe. There's one that
You
will.
call them safe, and they're never mom safe.
I've made sure that
They are
these
kid
ones.
tested, but not mother approved.
No, there is only one that is.
All right, fair warning to anybody out there listening that may have children around or grandma.
Your children should not be listening to
No.
this show.
Well, I think I've ruined that already. Like I just told like an extravagant dick joke.
Yes.
So,
You'd be surprised what people will tell me. Like, hey, that's kind of too far.
Too damn bad.
I didn't say we cared.
I know.
I just said it's funny that people pick out one thing to be offended. And I'm like, but what about all that other crap? you
Yeah,
said?
I mean, I think there's literally one episode where I had to drop like 100 F-bombs.
like that was your quota.
Like
it wasn't, but
it wasn't,
ended
but
up that
it
way.
just
Okay.
ended up
It's like-
that way.
Very angry
I wondered what the little tick marks on the wall behind you were.
Yeah, it's like
It's like
how many
I
days-
thought maybe you're like counting days that you've
There-
been like stuck in this room.
I have
Let him
offered
out
up
alive.
this every time I drop an F-bomb, just take a shot.
For 2019, we started a Buckhorn podcast drinking.
So-
somebody suggested it.
Yeah.
I said that was a bad idea.
I was
It's a
saying,
bad idea.
I'm not sure how you're still alive.
So, but well, not me. I'm not going to
It was
drink,
like
but
an
other
hour
people
long.
should
He
do
said
it.
like
Oh,
111
okay.
times.
Yeah. So
Oh,
the
yeah,
first
not us.
the first term. Here we go. Meme-plode.
Who's going first?
DJ.
Let the guess. Yep, that's what I was
Meme.
Meme-plode.
saying.
So here is the. I'll give it to you in sentence.
Nope.
No
Not
sentence?
Not
Yeah,
to
yeah.
guess.
Okay.
You
All right.
usually guess and then you give the sentence out.
Okay.
All right. Meme-plode.
I would say that I would say that what you're trying to communicate there is that there was something that happened, and as a result, like an entire thread basically just exploded with memes. Like all of the responses have been memes trying
Kind of
to.
like Bird Box.
No, not necessarily like a whole bunch of memes about one thing, but just like somebody made a comment. And then,
Don't help him along, Randy.
My bad. I was asking
somebody
questions.
got
My
like
bad. You're right.
like they got like Courage Wolf and like the penguin that's going both ways and like the unfortunate dude with the red hair and the smile on his face that everything goes bad for.
Like OG memes.
Like I'm just like all of the memes. Like
people reply.
everybody had like a meme, a different meme to like for this one situation.
Okay.
Okay.
All right.
Meme-plode is my Facebook page. I throw up 20, 30 memes at a time, and it shows up on everybody. It meme-plodes the pages. It could be on a forum, it could be anywhere, but it's just an over-inundation of memes. That's my first thought. I have two thoughts on it.
Well, I only
The
need
other
one.
Okay, well, then let me think. Give me
So
a second.
pick one.
What's your final answer?
I would say meme-ploding is kind of like the Bird Box, where people take one thing and make a bunch of memes out of it. That's my guess. That's my official.
You both are wrong.
Okay, well,
0 points issued to both.
Wrong.
we're donuts now. It's 2019.
Well, zero donuts.
So what is the actual definition?
So if Randy had went with his first one
I did.
and not his
Oh,
second
so
one.
like more like meme upload.
So when your friend sends too many memes in a row,
Because I'm that guy.
because Randy is
you
that guy.
really are that guy.
You guys don't even get the text and the messages.
I mean, like you and I don't know why I friended you and like Joe because like the
yeah.
two of you just will
Buck.
bombard me with memes.
Too many memes.
But are they good ones? The ones
Well,
that you get sent
they're
messages,
almost
are they good?
always funny.
Okay.
So I'm going to swap out names here. Randy is so annoying. He meme-ploded my phone earlier today. Like, what the fuck? Those memes are from like 2014. E-card. Randy already sent it. Hashtag already sent it.
You're welcome.
So that's meme-plode
All
Do
right.
you laugh?
sometimes.
Dude, my greatest Facebook accomplishment is when people come up to me in person that never post and never respond to anything of mine. One guy literally said, "You're the reason I did not shut down my Facebook account. I laugh at the things you post." And so what did I do? Kept posting more. I meme-ploded.
Keep on
But I
keeping
do
on.
it on my page. You can unfollow me.
I
That's
did,
fine.
actually.
I figured you did.
Yeah, I couldn't take it anymore.
I noticed. He's like, I'm unfriending and unfollowing. And everybody's like, I hope it's not me.
I'm like,
and everybody's like, I made the list. And I was like, oh, he unfollowed me a long time ago.
There were people that were like, yay, I made the list. I'm like, did you though?
Well, they took it as unfriending. I said, no, he's unfollowed all of you.
Following a lot of
We've had
people.
this conversation person. I knew immediately when you said I unfollowed people. I was like, oh, I'm one. I was probably the first one.
Unfortunately, you didn't make the unfollow list. I had to unfollow you.
One, I don't blame you, and two, I don't care.
That's fine. Okay.
That's your prerogative.
I know.
This is our relationship.
Yeah, you guys.
Well, so I was talking to some people, and I'm like, they're like, so how often do you and Randy meet for podcast meetings? I'm like, Randy and I don't talk throughout the week. I'm like, we don't.
Text or message. The message I get like on a Friday is like, we recording this weekend?
Yep.
Yeah, you guys are like.
I'm like, so I said, Randy and I don't hang out.
We don't.
You guys
They're
are like
what?
Adam and Jamie from like MythBusters.
Yeah.
It's like we do this awesome show together, but like we ain't exactly homies.
Yeah.
No, I mean we're homies.
Yeah, well, like you're not like
it's a
our families aren't getting together to like have dinner.
Like if I bought this house that's for sale down the street and he said, hey, we're grilling out, I'd come down and hang out. It's just that I live 30 minutes away. I'm not coming here.
30 minutes.
Yeah.
God, that's so long.
It is.
No.
It's like forever.
It's not long. But I'm also not trying to charter a flight to come down. Notice we're doing 3 at once for you.
Yeah.
You're
for
welcome.
me, you guys asked me to be a part of this show.
I know. All right, next one.
Yeah, you're right.
Next
So
term.
no donuts for anybody. Next one.
Grease man
Grease man?
or greaseman. Grease man.
And I'm first.
You're first, Randy.
Does this have any kind of a sexual orientation?
You're not allowed to ask questions.
Yeah, we are.
Grease man.
That's how I know you haven't listened. We always ask questions. Every one we have.
Grease man.
Grease man, like a real definition of a grease man, would somebody that would be greasing fittings on a machine.
Well, this is an urban dictionary.
And I'm painting pictures with my words. I'm the Bob Ross of talking.
If Bob Ross used finger paints.
Fair.
And poop.
I bet it still look way better than what I could really do.
Not exactly watercolors.
Sometimes it's more.
All right, your definition, Randy.
Grease man, I'm going to say is a. I hope Mom turned it off. That is a gentleman in charge of making sure the lubricant is provided for an adult film.
That's exactly what I was.
You're allowed to say the same thing.
All right.
That's the only thing I can think of.
No, in the interest of keeping it entertaining, I'm going to try and pick something else. I'm going to say that the grease man is the guy. Well, I mean, like the grease man is the dude like in the boxing match that like comes over and smears your face with Vaseline before you like walk into the ring. Like you
Ironically,
know, like,
they could be the same guy.
like yeah, exactly.
They could.
It's like he's just good with the lube, man.
They could.
Like the guy, like, you know, you see the UFC fighters about ready to walk in, and the guy like checks him out and makes sure he doesn't have razor blades on him or anything, and then the last thing they do is like rub Vaseline all over his face. Like that guy.
That guy. Okay. No, you both are wrong.
Dang.
0 donuts.
Nobody eating today.
It's a good thing we're not hungry.
Oh, no kidding. All right, grease man. A grease man is the guy that can get you in. Also the guy that can make things happen.
Wait, hold on. The guy that can get you in, my definition could still apply.
I was going to say, I think that's true.
But that's not the term. That's
half
like-
a donut.
nope.
Like the dude that, okay, so like
He's the guy that can he can get you
like
in or make things happen.
the guy at the door that's like,
The guy at the
I
door.
can get you
Or
in.
He's
makes
like-
things happen. He's your
He-
guy.
he is your guy. Yep.
Greases the
It's like a
wheels
Seinfeld
for
thing.
you. Gotcha.
In the movie Ocean's 11, Yen was the 95-pound little Chinese guy that worked as the acrobat in Las Vegas show. He was also the flexible, that could fold and fit into the very small tube portable safe. He is the guy that could get you in.
The grease man. Gotcha.
He is the grease man. All right.
I still like the one we went with better.
I do too.
Yours were actually better than that one. All right. So this one is called the left cheek sneak.
Here we go.
DJ.
Now we're getting into the fun ones.
The left cheek sneak.
I know what it is.
Left cheek sneak.
I'm gonna just take a stab that like a pickpocket, like somebody who is good
I
at
didn't think that. That's
lifting
good.
your wallet from your back pocket.
Okay.
And I'm going to say a left cheek sneak is when you are maybe somewhere like work or restaurant, you lift one little cheek up and let out a little silent.
Yeah,
little
that's a good.
sneaky.
I like that one.
That's
Silent
good.
but deadly.
That's
my
close.
guess.
That's good. That's good. That's real close. Real close. I'm going to give you half a donut for that one, Randy.
I'll take half of those.
Half a donut. So, to create a distraction with your hands on the right side to discreetly pass serious wind from the left side of your buttocks.
If only I farted out
I
of the
feel
left
like I
side of
get
my
a donut
buttock.
for that. That's what I said. You lean. I feel like I get a full donut for that.
Okay, all right. That's.
Is that full donut worthy? You lean.
I mean, it's pretty close.
That's why I said you get half. I said it's really close.
I feel like that's exactly on.
It's pretty close.
I just didn't
It's
say
close.
you wave. I said you lean.
You have to
Whatever.
create a distraction with your right hand.
Okay, fair enough. I'll take my half and be happy.
Yeah.
You're getting a half.
You got the fart portion.
You got the fart right.
And the lean. I just
You got
didn't
the
get
lean. You
distraction
just
with the
didn't
right
get the
hand.
distraction with the right hand.
That's the sneak.
That's the sneak.
The sneak portion.
All right. Let's see. Let's go with this one before we're ramping it up here.
Oh goodness. This is going to be the one where Jen's like, yeah, no more. I don't like this.
Jen will probably think this one is funnier than the last one. Well, not the last one, but earlier. I told the story.
I would
Sorry.
hope so.
I feel like that's like a whole nother one.
All
You
right.
said a whole nother.
Two more. Here's the last two. Froking. DJ. Froking.
Didn't I go first last
Yeah,
time?
I think it's my
That's
turn.
right.
Yeah. All right. We'll go with Randy. Froking.
Could you spell it?
Fronking.
Fronking.
Fronking, then.
Fronking?
Fronking. Fronking.
Fronking. That is front coitus, frontal coitus standing up. You are front effing.
Okay.
Not dropping the F bomb. You are fronking.
Or
Front fucking.
Or frunking.
See, now somebody just had to take a shot.
That's all right.
I
I
seriously got
I was kind of stumped on
seriously
this.
got nothing. Frunking.
Fronking.
I'm going to say that is. I mean,
never
like
seen you
literally,
this
I've got like nothing. Frunking.
Fronking.
Fronking.
Fronking?
Frunking.
So like,
Fronking.
I'm
Fronking.
Fronking.
What are y'all doing there? We're fronking.
Fronking.
Frankenstein. I'm going to say that it has something to do with honking at somebody. From in front of them. So like you're in front of them, maybe they don't have their headlights on or something, and so you're trying to get their attention, and so you
honk back.
honk your horn. Right.
Oh, that's not bad.
That's not bad.
I never would
That's,
have thought
there's
that.
no way that's right. But
That
Neither of us are right.
Neither of you are
No,
right.
I figured that.
neither of you are right.
so I'm interested to hear what this
When
one.
he said this is going off the deep end, like it's bad, it's gross and or sexually oriented. Anytime he
So-
says that, but
Well, I don't know. But
Someone
now I
who
know that.
someone who farts in the bathtub and
No,
bites
no.
the bubbles can be more than one person biting each other's bubbles.
Oh,
okay, you know what's really funny about this?
Bob and Jim were frunking in the pool. Bob and Jib are frunks. Frunks.
No, what's really funny is now I remember from the definition somebody had sent me
Bite the bubble.
that one before.
I've heard that used as
And
an
I think
insult,
I blocked it out of my mind.
but I've never heard the term. I've had somebody say to me like, you know what that asshole is, and I'd be like, what? He'd be like, that's the kind of asshole that like farts in the bathtub and bites the bubble on the way up. And I was like, ugh,
That is gross.
that is terrible.
And
Like
I love the way you tell stories.
I was like,
And
man,
I was like,
I can't, I can't even imagine how gross of a dude you'd have to
I
be.
can't imagine being the size of a person where you can fit in a bathtub and be able to fart and bite your own bubble.
It turns out that like not only are those gross dudes exist, but there's like a term for them. It's like we actually have
They
a
exist
name for
so
that.
much.
Right, exactly. That's
They
not
have
even. It's not even
a
rare,
funny
dog.
term.
It's not
Hey.
even rare.
There's a thing out.
Bonkers, man.
There's something for
There's
everybody.
something for everybody.
All right, and our last
You
one.
can find them on
It's just like
FronkReSongs.com.
it's just like like it doesn't matter how good you are at guitar or drums or anything. There is like a 14-year-old Korean kid that's like 3 times as good at it as you are.
Yeah, he can bite his own bubbles.
It also, I was going to say, it doesn't matter if you're Jimi Hendrix on guitar. If you bite a fart bubble one time, you're known as the
You're
fart bubble biter. Doesn't matter how good you are at guitar.
You're like,
You're
from
the
now on,
front
your name is Jimmy Frunkix.
Frankenstein.
Frank Daddelicious.
All right.
Gross.
So here's our last one. Turkish snow cone.
Oh no.
Oh, God. That just sounds terrible. No. The old Turkish snow cone. That sounds like something that like somebody would just make up. Like, yeah, we tried this new move. I'm going to call it the Turkish snow cone. It doesn't relate at all to Turkish people or snow cones, but
That's not how a lot of these are.
That's usually how this ends up happening. So, DJ, give me your Turkish snow cone.
The Turkish snow cone.
Now I'm intrigued.
Now I got to think of the cleanest definition possible because
I'm intrigued.
I've been pressurized.
Back to that night of catfishing. I'm like, you being serious?
The Turkish
What,
snow
my Turkish
cone.
snow cone? He wants all the way to the W.
I am going to. I'm gonna say that like maybe we're talking about.
These are tough today, man.
I know.
It's like all my mind keeps going to like gross things.
It's a gross thing.
Okay.
It's ending on this. It's a gross thing.
I'm going to suggest that perhaps what we're talking about is
I can
somebody
tell you
who likes a dessert that has a specific like topping that might be like produced by a dude. So like we're going to say ice cream that's got a thick candy shell. Produced by the lover, whatever.
That's actually very close to what I was thinking. Mine was the same thing, but with actual shaved ice and then Go-Gurt on it.
Go-Gurt.
If you catch my drift.
Man-Gurt.
Man-Gurt on it. That was my guess.
I'm going to give you each half a point.
Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
Just for creativity alone.
But we're both wrong, right? Please,
both wrong.
please, God, say that we're wrong.
Like, no, that's happened somewhere.
No, right, but like I don't want to be the dude that like actually knew what that was, even
DJ's
accidentally.
earning donuts and he's mad about it.
He's like, I don't want that donut. I don't want that donut.
My wife is going to hear this and she's going to look at me like,
You want to try a Turkish snow cone?
no,
tonight?
no, that is not what she's going to say. She's going to say, I don't want to know how you knew what that was.
I don't know how you
like,
came up with
I
that.
don't be like, I guessed. And she's going to be like, no,
No.
it's impossible. It's
Somewhere-
impossible that you guessed that right.
Somewhere in the back of your mind, sitting at the garage
Right.
room at Hooters, that
Exactly.
came up.
So what he didn't tell you about the end of the catfish story is they went out for ice cream after.
Yeah. What happened was.
So a Turkish snow cone. The act of masturbating and letting the cum bubble up like a volcano into your fist and making the girl lick or suck it out of your hand like a snow cone.
All right. Well,
I'm so sorry, Mom, if you're still listening. You brought me into this crap all the time. I don't want to go there.
Here's what happens. What happens is we have this like hour-long discussion about deep philosophical and ideological things, and then we come back, and the next episode is dick jokes and dirty.
It's what the people want.
Dirty terminology.
It's what the people
You
want.
get everything, folks. It's like a box of chocolates.
She ate that Turkish snow
It's
cone
like
like
a box of
champ.
chocolates, but you really only want half of them.
You never know.
That other half.
Well, that's. I mean,
you
that's.
enjoy that they're there and they exist, but you ain't touching.
I mean, come on. That's every box of chocolates. Everybody who gets a box of chocolates, like I want the turtles, I want the creme de mentes, and I want the pecan sandy. Like, you know what I mean? And I want the dark chocolate covered peanuts, and like
That strawberry creamy
the
crap.
strawberry cream
Blech.
and the like
Well, I
the,
like the
the
strawberry.
orange,
The orange
like
creamy.
or like the
like the orange
pineapple, like and you're like, I don't want any of those. And like some people do, some people don't. I'm just saying that like arbitrarily,
Everybody
there's
has
ones
their
that you
own.
want, and the ones that you just leave in the box.
I got a box of chocolates given to me, and there were only 4 kinds, and it was a big box, and they were all 4 kinds I liked. Best box of chocolates
It was a
ever.
home run.
I was
Yeah.
just like somebody gave me a
Did
box
you
of
go?
chocolates for Christmas.
Did
and
you
it sat
go
on my
play the
desk.
lottery?
Oh, dang it.
Come on, man. You got to
I
be
don't
thinking
play the
about this
lottery.
stuff.
You're right. I try to think about it, but then he fills my brain with garbage like this. You know what I think of 10 years from now? Turkish snow cones. I know the definition of that now, and it will never leave me.
Could be worse. Could be the Buckhorn Bellow.
Bleh.
Did you hear about that one?
I vaguely recall
Got it published.
mind bleaching the shit out of myself after hearing
Got it
about
published. First time I've ever tried to upload anything. I mean, that Otis Nice tried to put anything on Urban Dictionary.
I actually recall it not being all that bad, but
It's not horrible, but it's
not. I think it's funnier.
it's screaming your own name loudly as possible rather than your partner's or anyone else's at the height of primal orgasm for the sole purpose of both perplexing them and congratulating yourself for a job well done.
I paint with my words.
I like
words.
I like that it's not just an orgasm, but a primal one.
Thank you.
Like, this is only good if like it's animalistic.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Like you're not sitting there just saying your name like, oh, Randy. Like, you got to scream it. Like, it's deep within. Not my name.
Well, right, because my name's not Randy.
Right.
Well, you could scream Randy's name.
I would be screaming. Yeah, but that
It
would.
says it does say rather than your partner. It says your name or somebody else's.
Oh, okay. So it used to be
The way
anybody's
it's
name.
worded, it's like instead because in like movies
Rather than your
it's
partner's name or anybody else's.
you say yours though. Instead, because how sometimes you see in movies or something where somebody screams somebody else's name, and they're like, "Wait, what?" Well, instead of that, because like if you say
You're screaming your own name.
say
Right.
you're with your wife, if you were to scream another woman's name, like her name,
Well,
is
sure,
fine.
right, that would
another
be-
woman's would be like, "Whoa!" But if you scream your own name, they'd be like,
It's just
Right.
confusing.
You're right.
What just happened?
especially like for you because it's so sure you do your whole name.
I'm like, Daryl, Jen, Bess.
Hey Jen, thanks for letting him come out.
And Jen would be like, what is going on?
See, what's funny is he raised the IQ when he got here,
Mm.
but he's leaving a little bit more.
Well,
blunt.
I mean, it's like diffusion, right? So like eventually we all reach equilibrium.
We all get on the same cycle.
Like I'm lifting you guys up, you're bringing me down. That's just the way that works.
That's what happens.
We'll keep coming back until you hit our level, then we'll find somebody smart again.
I think maybe this might be my last one.
Jen's not going to let him out of the house anymore.
You may not want to come back.
One of the really smart things that my dad taught me a long time ago is that if you're the smartest guy in the room, you need to find another room.
Oh, damn it.
Your dad's a wise man. You should listen to him.
Yeah, exactly. I don't think this is what he was thinking about, though.
Still applies. Still applies.
Still, yes.
All right, I
All
gotta
right.
get out of here. You gotta get out of here. Let's get out
Yep.
of here.
So thanks for listening. Check us out on Facebook, Instagram, and the Twitters. Send us an email, buckhornpodcast@gmail.com. And we will talk to you all later.
Happy Valentine's Day.
See ya.